Thanks for joining again and tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so thanks for having me again. So yeah, it's interesting to see how Teams is now are being leveraged by even more and more companies these days in this pretty, let's say, virus affected situation, so to speak. More and more companies recommend to you stay at home, work from home, and leverage your collaboration solutions. Yeah, so Teams these days is pretty much evolving quickly, and it absolutely has is enterprise ready and it's a very professional solution. Even though that some people think that all those weekly and biweekly updates to Teams will distract my employees and makes it pretty hard to adopt the technology. So when you think about using Teams and implementing and adopting Teams, you must have a proper adoption plan ready for adopting Teams, right? And it does not work out for your company if you just enable Teams or any other of the workloads of Office 365 and, well, just tell your employees, hey, here's a new tool to use it and be happy. This will not be a success.
No, you're absolutely right. You got to show them how is going to improve their everyday work experience, basically.
Yeah, right. You need to get your communication team involved. You need to have a proper success story around it. And it's not like a solution that is implemented by the IT department because you need to know the business requirements and show them use cases based on their demands. And as you mentioned, education. So there's a difference in the team's pre-configuration for educational use.
Tell us about it.
Because, yeah, right. So there's the enterprise teams, which is more or less the Teams version that we are currently using. And
Mhm.
if you are an EDU subscription, you get a, let's say, pre-configured educational version of Teams because it focuses on faculty staff members and students as well.
Mm.
And it's a different kind of functionality, which is more, yeah, easy to use for teachers and students. So I definitely recommend if you as a educational
Mhm.
facility currently you're not into Office 365 EDU, give it a try because there are even trial turns for EDU available.
Yeah, because most of the people they have the subscription, but they are not making use of
Yeah.
all the features, right? So let's talk about since we are there, there are you can connect more apps and third party. Let's talk about it and how it can help different type of businesses. Then you can go and add multiple SaaS services.
Yeah. So actually I'm happy that that you're shifting the topic to this because this is where we have a different view on the overall data security topics.
Hmm.
Watch this from a, let's say, this side of the pond, compared to the US, because in
Mhm.
the US it's just, okay, hey, that's cool. That's a cool feature. Let's use it.
Okay.
Europe, we're going to talk about, okay, wait, can I use it? Doesn't make sense. Okay, where's the data stored? What the data security around is?
GDPR.
GDPR and such. Yeah, GDPR hell, so to speak, because it's integrated into Teams, but you are integrating with a third party product, which does have its own requirements. So where is data stored? It's not necessarily stored in your tenant, but, by that third party provider. And you need to familiarize yourself. That's why I normally recommend companies to have a dedicated test tenant,
Mhm.
right? With a definitely smaller set of users,
Yeah.
but a tenant where they can just as an IT partner test things. Yeah, that's why it's called test tenant, but and see how it works out and how or if there are any risks and issues for the intellectual property of the company. But if not, so if you approve an application and you use it, it definitely makes your end users more productive because it just plain integrated into the Teams client and in any client on any device, which is just, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
simple. to use.
I always recommend like same concept from on-prem with a POC environment. So you got to have a POC tenant regardless. This I always recommend
Yeah.
because if your company made a transition for cloud or let's say digital
Yeah.
transformation, Then going forward, the more features and everything is coming in, it's your production environment. So you don't want to just go and apply those policies. So why
Right.
not have a small set of user, maybe 10, 25 user, whatever it is, whatever the size of the company is, and have that POC environment and try and test it. So this will give you more confidence and you know
Right.
what you want to try to achieve in your production environment.
Right. Yeah. You can add and remove licenses. That's one of
Yeah.
the benefits when using a AS application.
So I think this will be a good understanding to the people about the team. And as you mentioned about the team enterprise edition versus for academia and .edu education. And then we talked about why they want to use a test tenant or POC tenant.
Yeah.
So that was, so that was, I think, a good to take away from this conversation of the people. They can start with these three main topics, start learning, trying it. And then in our next episode, we'll talk more about it.